Hi, my name is Lewis with Rossman Supply Group. Today I'd like to discuss why I think branding is evil. Now, this video is a little tongue-in-cheek and I will discuss more of my thoughts at the end, but let me start with how this came to be. I was going to purchase some iPhone parts from my vendor. I make about a weekly purchase for about $10,000 to $25,000 worth of iPhone parts, and I talk to her and I say, I need 100 of this, 200 of this, 100 of this, 500 of that, 1,000 of that, 1,000 of that. And she goes, okay, let me put together a list and an invoice. And I stay up until 2 or 4 in the morning to wait for the invoice that I can pay it and get them within a couple of days. And she tells me, you can't get this, that, and the other. And I go, why can't I? And she goes, somebody else has purchased all of them. And I go, how many people? And she goes, just one company. And I go, who is it? And she goes, I can't really tell you that. And I go, bullshit, who is it? I want to know. I mean, if I've been purchasing from her for about 2 or 3 years now, and if somebody's messing up my order, I would really like to know who it is, especially if they're buying enough to actually hold up the line for everybody else. So she says a company called iCracked. So I decided to go online and do a little bit of research on them, and I Google them, and I see they actually have a pretty good company put together here. If you go to the About Us section on iCracked.com, they talk about how it started from a college dorm room. It was just an idea about of just fixing a couple of iPhones, and it really grew into something big. And how they just were trying to avoid having a 9-to-5 job, and it's kind of like the American dream. You start just by accident, you stumble onto something that you can make a living off of, and it's really, really cool. I can identify with these people. I like the way their website is written. It's not just a bunch of "we are certified, we are the best." They just tell you honestly how they came to be, who they are, and what they do. And I really, really like the way their website is written. And if you go to their site, you'll see it's pretty cool. Like they have the little arrows pointing to where you should click if you want something done. It's they have little arrows pointing to where you should search for things. It's a very well put together website, and it's clear that some time and it's at least some money was put into making this look pretty good. They have a lot of repair videos where, let's say, they show you what they do, and they show you how to do it. They have a good blog where they talk about the things that are going on in the industry. It's pretty cool. Now I go to the shop part where you can find parts that they sell, and I look and I see that the iPhone 4S screen was going for about $72.50, and my jaw dropped. It really did, because I sell this part on our company website to retail customers for $31.99. Now, since we're purchasing these from the same vendor, and this vendor sells the same quality of parts to everybody, and I'm purchasing, the original LCD, I know that what they're selling is got to be the same cost as what I'm selling. Now, I know, even though I'm not sure who gets better pricing from my vendor, them or myself, but I mean, they look like they're a big enough company that they're getting the same tier, probably not better than ours. $72.50. Now, when we look at it, now again, let's be fair here. You get a screwdriver, actually 3 of them. They're quality, so it looks like they could be up to, that's up to maybe $4 or $5 in screwdrivers. Adhesive, suction cup, free, little microfiber cloth, maybe 50 cents, a screen protector, 30 cents if it's a shit one, 80 cents if it's a good one, and a little bumper case, which I'm not sure what to value at, but let's say it doesn't raise the cost of this more than about $6 to $10. And it's selling for over $40 more than what we're selling it for on our company site. To put things in perspective, our company sells the service for $65 plus tax, meaning a licensed and insured business will replace this part in your phone in about 20 to 30 minutes for $65 plus tax, which comes in at $70.77, which is actually less than they're charging for the part by itself. Again, this is not a kid working out of his apartment. This is a retail store in Manhattan with 5 employees on payroll. We're paying insurance. We're paying a lot of money in rent for the entire store. It's not just like a small little storefront. We have 2 back offices and a basement. I'm paying insurance. I'm paying disability, workman's comp, payroll taxes, regular taxes. It's expensive, and it's $65 plus tax. and there are several businesses in the area that are doing this for $70 to $80. So, now they're selling a good part. They're honest people. This is a good website. They're good people. They have very good customer service. I actually called and made 1 or 2 inquiries, and they're very, very nice to deal with over the phone. I don't see anything wrong with this company, except for and what I'd like to discuss is not what's wrong with any of these companies, because I don't think anything is actually wrong with them. I'm not knocking them, I'm not insulting them, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't do business with them. Buy parts and services from them. They seem like good people. What I'm trying to get across is why the evil in branding. Branding is what allows a company to sell a part for double the average market rate, even if it's the same thing, and have a lot of people purchase it. Now, branding, I've discussed in the Groupon video, is not just your sign or the colors of your store or the colors of your website. Branding is everything about your business. Branding is the employees you hire, branding are the policies you set, branding is how you write. Branding is evidence in every part of how you portray your business. Your online presence and your local presence. All of it is a reflection of who you are. So I think branding is a good thing if used properly, because you'll get people who like you to come to your business. If your branding is not a reflection of who you are and you're doing your best to hide who you are and be somebody else, you're going to get customers that come to your business that may be expecting somebody else. If your branding is a good reflection of who you are, whether you're a mess or clean, whether you have a hipster environment or like a scientist environment, whether you're expensive or cheap, whether you're fast or slow, if your branding is honest, you'll have people walk in the door that are expecting what it is you're offering. And people who, when their expectations meet their experience or exceed it, they'll leave a positive review, which in turn creates more customers and more business, and on and on and on. Now, so I think branding is a good thing. Now, the downside of branding, in my opinion, is for the uneducated consumer. Because the uneducated consumer will go by branding and say, I like everything they have to say, this is really set up nicely, I trust them, let me buy from them. And an uneducated consumer, again, they may not know that this part is coming literally from the exact same vendor that's selling it for less than half the price. And they'll buy it. Let's check out a different part. Let's search for an LP133WX2, which is the screen that the 13-inch unibody MacBooks use. This is a pretty popular laptop. Let's search for the TLG1 revision. One of the first results on Google, is an eBay listing where I'm selling this part for $48.59. That's the first result I got. The second one is a company called ScreenCountry.com. They're selling this part for $57.99. Again, excellent price. And $49.49 if you buy 2 at a time. Again, my price is a little below market. Screen Country is a little closer to market. And now let's see what, let's say, a site called eTech Parts sells it for. eTech Parts is they're owned by the company that owns Mission Repair. Again, this company has done wonders with positive branding. And let's see what the sale price is. This company has a great looking website. They have a great looking story. They have a high resolution photo album of everybody in their staff with descriptions of what they do. They have a description of why they're the best. They have a blog series. They have instructions and tools, and they sell the part for $103.99. Let's try iFixit. iFixit is another cool website. Their search feature is actually similar to Spotlight in OS X and how it works. Let's search for A1342 MacBook LCD. Again, that's the same as an LP133WX2 TLG1. And let's see what we find. Okay, $129.95 if you would like it to be new. Now again, this website even goes further in depth. They have detailed instructions. They have a search feature that as you're typing, just like Google would do or just like Spotlight would do, actually shows you the results in real time as you're typing them. They have a cute woman doing their video blog series who does enough of them that I imagine this is a full-time position for her, and which I feel a little bad for. If you look at the comments on YouTube, they're just sometimes men are pigs. Anyway, they have a self-repair manifesto. They have forum where they allow people to discuss their own self-repair issues. They set up a system where people can submit guides using the same format that they use for their own guides. They have a lot going on here versus, let's say, Screen Country, where it's just, here is your regular search box. And by the way, I'm not knocking Screen Country. They have an excellent website. It's laid out very well. It's informative. And if your laptop uses 2 different screens, they'll actually tell you on one page, which is very, very innovative in terms of laptop screen part sourcing websites. But anyway, this website has a lot more going on. They have a lot more going on in their company. They have a blog. They have a well-written video blog. They try to be active in the community and try to make an issue of whether something's repairable or not. They release interesting articles. They release interesting manuals. And their website is set up very, very modern. In a very, very modern fashion. But again, now what I want you to ask as a consumer who is about to purchase these parts, ask yourself, how are they paying for that? How was it that, again, is that woman getting paid $40,000 a year plus benefits to, again, make these interesting videos, share her thoughts, and also, admittedly, look cute for the camera? Is the blog being written by somebody who decides, I really like this cause, let me just guest blog once every 2 days and make a really interesting entry? Or is that person getting $60 an entry? Does this website look really cool because they just, they took the Magento default template and modified it a little bit? Or does it look really cool because they paid web designers a fuck ton of money to implement these features? And if the answer to each one of these questions is the more expensive of the two, who's paying for that? It's always going to be you. These costs, the cost of good branding is often passed on to the consumer. And some of the trends in modern branding are having a video blog like this, having a written blog with interesting articles. Anything that gets traffic to your website, any cause that people are going to care about, and having there be a consistent look and feel and experience across your entire product line, which means maybe how the package is designed, how your website looks versus how, let's say, your logo looks. Having all of this set up properly, it honestly, and having it done professionally, it costs money, and that's money that you're going to be charged in the end. It's kind of like when let's say there's a new tax on DSL or a cable or a cell phone provider, they never pay it. It shows up on the end of your bill, and the same is true here. And again, I'm not knocking these companies. All of these are good companies. eTech Parts, iFixit, iCracked. These are all reputable companies selling good parts. It's just that what I want you to think about when you're looking at this and saying, this other website kind of looks like shit, they're not really telling me much. Maybe they don't deserve your sale. Maybe they really haven't tried enough to deserve your sale. But what I want you to get into your head is that those websites may very well be selling the exact same thing. When you buy something that's cheaper, sometimes you're getting worse, but here you're not actually getting a worse part. In at least one of these instances, I know you're getting the exact same part. You're getting maybe some worse branding. And one of the things that I dislike about branding is that it allows a part to become more expensive to the uneducated consumer, because there are a lot of industries in which I am an uneducated consumer. For example, I don't know a lot about LED lighting, and I'd like to purchase some LED light fixtures for the front of the store for when we start up our accessories business. I'd like to have, let's say 3 or 4 rows of LEDs, just like the ones that are on the table, that stick to the side wall and go around. Now, there are different websites with different brands and completely different pricing. And until I do my research, I'm not going to know, is this website charging a lot more because they are, because this is a better light, or are they just charging a lot more so that they can make a lot more money? And now some of the questions that I'm asking myself as I go through this, one of them will go, is this a website that I found on Google AdWords? Because most of the time, since you're paying per click, their cost is going to be higher. Is this a company that, again, I'm actually looking for this now. Is this a company that seems to have actively spending money on their branding? Do I think they're paying an SEO company a lot of money? Does it look like they have a full-time person doing blogging? Because as cool as that makes the website look, as a consumer who's looking to spend the least amount of money possible to get a good part and good service, I don't give a flying fuck what your website looks like, and I don't give a flying fuck who you hire to write video blogs for you, or to produce video blogs for you, or to make your website look nice. If I can navigate to what I want and get it, and I get it and it actually works, I'm happy. I'd rather spend $80 to buy, let's say, 2 of these strips than spend $500 somewhere else just because they look more legitimate. and most people will purchase from the place that looks most legitimate. But what you should know is that in 2012 there are much higher expectations on a vendor than there are, let's say, 5 or 10 years ago. 5 or 10 years ago with e-commerce, if your website didn't look like it was a website where you put your credit card information in and let's say your check for your mortgage payment next month bounces, you are going to buy from them. Now, having a really decent looking website and that's neat and set up properly isn't enough. You have to do a lot of fighting just to get to page 1 or 2 of Google. You have, just to keep people interested in linking to you, which gives you better search engine optimization. There's a lot that you have to do, and a lot of this costs real money. You can't just buy links like you used to 2 or 3 years ago if you're looking for search engine optimization and get results. You have to you have to have interesting content. You have to create interesting content. You have to make you have to have other people present it in an interesting way so that it will actually get linked to and get a lot of clicks. And all of this costs a decent amount of money. And now, as much as I want other companies that I purchase from to be successful, as much as I like any vendor to be successful, I just don't want to pay for it. I don't want to pay for their, I don't want to pay for, I don't know how you feel, but I personally, I would rather just get a part from a website that looks like it was set up in Composer or, or Microsoft Word, and know that I'm getting a quality product from somebody that will answer the phone if something doesn't work. That makes me happy. And I'm using how the website is set up and how their branding is set up as a way to determine, whether or not the markup of that is being charged is fair or not. And as a way, before I even start doing the research on the different vendors and doing the research on what the market price should be for a specific quality and a specific type of LED light fixture that I'm looking for. Anyway, hopefully this video has provided you with some entertainment, some information, and good night.